The movement was begun by a scientist who discovered, quite by accident, these signals being sent. Please understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered.
Look out for Charlie.
I want him down.
This was just sent to me. Let's check it out.
He was just in court within the last hour, and we just got a copy of the felony complaint this morning. He was charged with 1 count of murder, and before, he reportedly confessed to the killing after he was arrested. But today here in court, he entered a dual plea, a plea of not guilty and not guilty by reason of insanity. Now take a look. This is video of 29-year-old Kevin Cataneo Salazar in court this morning. His arms were restrained to his hips and he was wearing a bulletproof vest. His family says he was mentally ill, that he was hearing voices and was schizophrenic. Now, Salazar was arrested Monday morning at his home in Palmdale. He initially barricaded himself inside for hours. Deputies deployed tear gas to force him out and surrender.
Now, why did he barricade himself in? They always believe that people are coming for them. I've heard of many stories where these people will barricade themselves into a home or a business or wherever when these voices are telling them that they are coming for them. Like right now, that's what's going on. So they panic, and that's what happens.
They found a significant number of firearms inside.
Well, what was I just talking about in the last video? So the guy had guns, and all of a sudden he is schizophrenic. There is something to this. I can't stress it enough. When there are firearms in a home, one of these family members ends up hearing voices.
Investigators believe Salazar drove up behind Deputy Ryan Klinkenbrummer's patrol vehicle and shot him on Saturday.
That's probably not the case. He was probably driving, and what they did was they told him that the deputy was going to kill him or was getting ready to kill him. That is what they do all the time. They're coming for you. They're coming for you. They put these people in a do or die situation. And these people panic because of what the voices are telling them, and they act. And it is ridiculous. It is sad that this guy lost his life because of that. But you have to look at who is really doing this. It is not what it appears to be. The guy didn't just go crazy. So a home with firearms in it, whether this guy owned them or not, he begins hearing voices, scares him enough when they tell him who's coming after him and blah, 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 to start arming himself out of fear. That is what happens in a lot of these cases. And then when he's out for whatever reason, a lot of times they drive them out of the house, tell them that they're poisoning the house so the person has to leave to get them out on the street. And then they tell them that a person is coming for them. And this happens to civilians all the time. It's most of the time it is civilians and not police. In this case, it was a deputy that was killed by somebody hearing these quote-unquote voices.
The 30-year-old deputy later died at the hospital. This is what the judge had to say in the courtroom today.
Thank you very much. The court is going to enter a plea of not guilty to the charges, as well as a dual plea to not guilty by reason of insanity, with all denials of any and all special allegations.
Now back at her live, Salazar is being jailed without bail. His preliminary hearing is scheduled for November. In the meantime, there is a press conference scheduled for downtown LA at 3 p.m. with the district attorney.
Now, a lot of things happen with these cases when it becomes a civilian hearing voices on cop crime. You know, security will tighten up. There will be cries for gun control. In a lot of these cases, it will get the police into this mental health game where they view anybody who is hearing this as somebody who's going to take them out. You know, it heightens fear for everybody. This is a very scary situation. Now, had this person been told or educated on what it really was, not believing that it was his neighbors, not believing that it was the police or the people around him, this would have never happened. But it did happen because he was fully believing in what the voices were telling him. And that's the sad part here. People died. That's fucked up. These people that are using this weapon, as I've said before, are the most prolific serial killers in history. Period. It is the same scenario over and over. How are people not realizing this? It is the same script over and over. This is well beyond absurd at this point. Well beyond. These people are attacked with these voices. They are told slowly over time to get them to believe in the warped perspective of it, that it is people close to them doing it. They feel weird, dizzy, vibrations, different symptoms, sick, and then they tell them that they are poisoning the house. And that is when they've got them at the highest point of fear and bewilderment in this situation. They drive them out of the house by telling them that the house is poisoned to get them out on the street. And then they drive them to do something to somebody out there. And it doesn't matter who to them most of the time. They just want them to kill or hurt somebody, to create a mental health crime. Are you getting this? And then the hammer comes down because of what is happening. This is how it works. At the point that they drive them out onto the street by telling them that their house is unsafe, that is when shit goes down. And this just happened. It was posted on ABC 7 hours ago. The only thing that's keeping people from figuring this out is cognitive dissonance. It's actually gone into clown world. It is so angering to see this happening over and over, and people turning a blind eye because they've been sold a phony mental health bill of goods. This is amazing to me. Now, those involved in AI have recently came out and said that they can read your brainwaves and tell what music you're listening to. And coincidentally, they used Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall. Here is the original clip.
All it was just a brick in the wall.
So, are they really pulling up brainwaves that sound like this? Let's give it a listen. Now, that voice right there sounds like sine wave speech in a way, and it sounds remarkably like the audio that I would pull up in the early days when it was a little more garbled. Remarkably like it. It's missing a lot of performance in it, but what's up with that? What's really going on here? Are all those recordings from the past when you would hear these voices everywhere, which you can still hear, but all my recordings from the past, were those subvocal speech flying around? You know, what is really going on here? There's something strange that's going on. I don't believe that they're using brainwaves like they say that they're using. I believe that they're using subvocal speech to pull this stuff out, and then they're using processing to turn that one signal into many signals and then form a chord. And I really believe that. I do not trust them. I do not trust what they say is going on, and I can prove it. But there is a remarkable similarity between what they show there and the AI that I pulled out of the air in the past. But I believe they are lying about this. Let me show you. This gives me a chance to show you a couple things. This is actually one of those psychic driving type signals that I picked up at 3:01 in the morning not too long ago. And what it says is then slash over and over with a different word in between. Let me play this for you real quick.
Then slash. Salpiesen.
It's weird. Then slash.
Then slash. Salpiesen. 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 Then slash. Salpiesen.
So this keeps going and going. But the point is, let me show you what happens when you take a certain effect to all this. What we're going to use is an effect called a morphoder. And what this does exactly what you heard with the Pink Floyd stuff. It turns it into a bunch of different notes. Let's do it. It sounds identical, it's just in a different key. Here is the AI Pink Floyd. It's just a version of a morphoder. That's what it is. It's just in a different key.
Sau piesen. Dan slash. Sau piesen.
So that is what they're doing. They're taking one signal that's coming out of probably subvocal speech and turning it into many signals that they can get a voice out of. It is being processed. Very, very processed. Let's do another version of the SWAT rat. So, this is a real psychic driving style clip that I picked up late at night in my neighborhood. But let's add this morphoder to it, and it will sound almost identical to what they claim they were pulling out of the brain. It is almost identical. So this isn't coming straight out of the brain. I don't trust these people. I don't trust what they do. I don't trust what they say. They're saying that they can tell the music that people are listening to by their brain waves. I don't believe that. I believe they are using something else entirely. And that's it for now. Look out for Charlie.
Come on, do Nazi stuff.
Yeah, why won't he do the Nazi stuff?
Look out for Charlie.